All right, everybody, welcome to the November countdown.
Let's go.
All right, there's Morgan, Earl. Welcome all of you guys. We're going to do something. We're going to do two things very different tonight. Number one, Monica's going to start off the call. Actually, the official start to the call. And we're going to try to keep tonight's call at about 30 minutes and get you guys away. Obviously, it's the close of the month, so we're not going to do a long call. I did not go to the gym tonight or in the office working, so I'm not unprepared. So you're not going to get any extended extravaganza from me. So anyway, so it sounds like that's good news to all of y'all because y'all want to get back to business and closing out the month, which is the most important point. So let me just get this thing started and turn it over to Monica. Monica, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Glenn. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being on tonight. And how many of you guys had a great Thanksgiving Day?
I did.
Yes. They'll eat some good dressing, turkey, pies.
Yeah. Fried turkey.
Awesome.
Monica, something happened to your volume.
Mine?
Is something covering up your volume? Sound like
No.
something covering it up.
No, nothing's covering it up that I.
Oh, it sounds better
Can
now.
you hear me okay? Okay, y'all can hear me good?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so sorry, you guys. I wanted to tell you about this fantastic chocolate cake I made for Thanksgiving. It was so unbelievable. Glenn was asking me, is it any good? And I'm like, didn't turn out good at all. Because I didn't want to share my cake with Glenn. And so he knows when I say when things are not good, he knows he has to go taste it because it is good.
Yeah, I came home from the gym last night. She had pasta. I said she made pasta. I came in, it smelled like a damn restaurant in here. And I'm like, wow, what is that? Is it any good? And she nods her head no. And I go, oh, that means that you don't want me to have any. I got it.
Yeah, so the thing around here, you guys, is I'm not a cook. I'm not by means any cook at all. Glenn has taught me how to cook a few things, but not much. So Glenn's the cook in the house, just so you guys know. Anyway, so I'm glad you guys had a great Thanksgiving Day. And of course, we're here almost the end of the month. And when's the end of the month, you guys? Tomorrow, 2 a.m. California time, right? Or our time, but what is that?
12.
California time. Yes. Awesome.
Midnight California time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have plenty of time to close out the month. So, to close out your month, one good thing that you want to do is look to see what your goal was at the beginning of the month. Okay. And see how close you are to achieving it, which is going to be awesome when you look at it. Okay, awesome. I'm almost there. And if you're not close, no problem. Awesome. I'm almost there. So having the mentality of, oh my gosh, everything's no problem. I'm almost there. I'm going to get it. I'm going to make it happen. Even though tomorrow's the end of the month, anything can happen as long as you've been doing the work all month long and you continue to do the work from here on forward. Because you just never know who you're going to walk into, what conversations you're going to have, or the past conversations, how they're going to all of a sudden bloom. It can bloom tonight. It can bloom into some success tomorrow. It doesn't matter. But the main thing is making sure that your vibration, your energy level is constantly focused on the number of which that goal was at the beginning of the month. So you guys clear on that?
Yeah.
Yes. So you just never, ever want to, give up on yourself. Number one, you never, ever want to sell yourself on a story, right? Sometimes we're like, oh, well, this, oh, well, that. No, oh, well, we all knew better. We all plugged into this unit here, and we knew that we had to work all month long, right? Yes. Yeah. So we can't sell ourselves on a story. All we got to do is just, okay, no problem. And just realize that we can get better at that. We can get better at some of the things maybe that fell at the wayside or whatever. But the main thing is looking at your beginning of the month and working like crazy, talking to people, doing whatever you have to do, conversations, throwing out, your stories on Instagram, or if you're doing advertising, following up with people and making sure that everything, that you leave no stone unturned, basically is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. You get the yes or the no. That's what you're looking for. Yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. How many of those can you get by the end of the month tomorrow? Okay. Now, one thing that you guys want to focus on, because I'm at the gym doing my cardio, and of course those things face the TV things, and also that has the monitor on the cardio machine, and it has the TV playing. I have no idea what they're saying. It's just playing. But what you see now, if you guys haven't paid attention, I don't even know if you guys watch TV. We don't watch much here, but anyways, we don't at least see the commercials. It's like TiVo, and you fast forward through the commercials, right? But at the gym, you can't do that. So what you see is a lot of New Year's resolution stuff happening right now. So all the marketers in the business of weight loss, New Year's resolutions, etc., those things are happening right now. The message of their product is out in the marketplace. So what does that mean to you as a business owner of Herbalife nutrition products? That means that, well, if we haven't been doing it, then we need to do it, right? And if we have been doing it, we need to do it massively, okay? Because we need to have extreme numbers walking into December, okay? And then building up that momentum into January, where people are going to be like, how you feed fish. Like there's a bunch of fish around, you throw the bread in there and they're like, ah! They jump up and you think they're gonna bite your hand, right? That's gonna happen in January. That's what you want to envision of happening in January, but you got to do the work today. You got to do the work this hour to create that type of momentum, that explosion in January. So, but of course, November is the main thing that you want to close out today. Or tomorrow, is you want to focus on that today so you can close it out with a big bang tomorrow. And then we go into December. Now, one thing that I want to share with you guys is you do whatever it takes to close everything out in November. You always work the month. Yes, we always look into the vision of the future of December and January, but we always back it up and we work November volume. Okay, so you never save anything at all for December. You churn, make it happen, put the volume out there, get people signed up, distributor, preferred member, etc. So it's always November. The current month that you're in, you're focused on that. You guys clear on that? Yes. Awesome. So the main thing is just being disciplined on that. And Glenn, that's really all I wanted to say is in regards to closing out the month. And so we can keep this call short for everybody, is just focusing on what your number or goal was for the beginning of the month. And then, of course, doing whatever it takes to reach that by tomorrow's end of business.
Perfect. Well said. And a couple of things on that. We got some new people on the call and new people joining all the time. And maybe if they're even been in for a couple of months, maybe at the beginning of the month, they didn't have a goal, right? So first of all, no problem, but that's something to put down in your notes. At the beginning of every month, you want to, reflect or look into the future, get with your sponsor, get with your mentor, get with some leadership that can give you some guidance, direction, and some good counsel, and put down what your goal is for the month. And when we talk about goal, the goal is always going to operate under the measuring stick of volume points. So you guys are clear. Well, starting with volume points, personal volume, documented volume, because that's your measuring stick of success. You guys write that down. Okay. Number 2, position in the marketing plan can be one of your goals. And it depends on how new you are, how long you've been around, what you're striving for, right? If you're brand new, your first goal should be getting the distributor action plan. 500 volume points, 3 months in a row. You get all the gifts, you get all the goodies, right? You get the recognition, right? You want to start getting all that free swag? Yes, you do, right? Because that does a lot for your state of mind, your consciousness. It does a lot for your self-esteem and self-confidence and self-worth. In this business, I mean, we're all self-employed, right? In Herbalife, we're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves, correct? Of course. Hold on, y'all look good. Let me get a picture. Everybody smile. Everybody smile. Oh, good. I got saying. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Okay. That's on my IG stories, by the way. So this is a business of self-confidence. We talked a lot about last week about yourself, your personal philosophy, the way that you think and feel about things. You guys remember that? What's your personal philosophy on things? Your business, your life, your goals, your future, all that stuff. So for a new distributor, very important that a new distributor and a person that's even been around for a while, that we're always having wins, like confidence builders. You can go out and by the way, you never know, what type of confidence builder is going to boost you up, right? It could be you get somebody on a T in total control. It could be I sold a shake and a PDM, right? You collected the money exchanged hands, something happened, the possibilities of what's going to happen to them on the products, they're so excited, and that boosts you. That gives you confidence, right? It keeps you jacked up for another 12 hours, 24 hours. And remember, success breeds success, energy breeds energy, right? Confidence breeds confidence. So if you have confidence, that's a vibration inside of you that will bring you more business, because confidence is attractive. You guys understand that? Okay. High self-esteem, that's a vibration, that's attractive. What's more attractive, high self-esteem or low self-esteem? High self-esteem, right? So having all these little confidence builders, it's like the domino effect. Everything affects everything. Okay? Everything affects everything. So it's important. So again, going back to what Monica was talking about with the goals. Okay? I don't assume, this is one thing that I've learned in Herbalife, and you shouldn't assume either. You shouldn't assume that every single person in your business, wrote down their goals at the beginning of November. You know what I mean? We shouldn't assume that. Okay? And by the way, they're not wrong for not doing it. Maybe they didn't know that they needed to do it. Maybe they haven't learned it yet. Or maybe they did know. Maybe somebody told them, but still it didn't. They got distracted with, 10 other things in life, and they just procrastinated and never did it. No problem. That's the great thing about this business is you can always start today, with a new discipline or implement something new into your business in terms of a habit or whatever that may make a percentage of a difference in changing course or changing direction. So if you're not a person that has ever written down goals in your life in general or in your Herbalife business, well, guess what? Now's a great time to start. You know what I mean? So again, I don't assume that everybody wrote down goals at the beginning of October, the beginning of November, and I don't assume that everybody's going to write down goals this Saturday at the beginning of December. You follow me? But again, that's a great place to start, because without goals, think about it for a minute. Think about this for a minute. If you went to a basketball game and both the teams showed up and all the fans showed up and the entire stadium is full, the arena is full of fans waiting for the game to start, and they go to the middle and then they tip the ball, and then one team gets the ball and they start dribbling down the court and they go to shoot, and then right when they were going to shoot, everybody in the arena kind of noticed it all at the same time, and the ball goes up and then the ball comes down and hits the floor, and everybody's looking around like they don't know what's going on. And guess what happened? There was no goal. No goal at the end of the court. They were expecting that the goal would be there because on the other stadium there was. All the games they play have goals, right? Because that's how you keep score with the goal. 2 points, 3 points, free throws, single points, whatever, right? That's how you keep score. Well, if you shoot and there's no goal, then what kind of game are you playing? Not much of a game, is it? Not much of a game. Other team gets the ball, dribbles down to the other side, throws the ball up. There's nothing to shoot it into. So you can think of a goal in a couple different ways. A goal is a goal. You can think of it in sports terminology. You can think of it as a target, like a bullseye, like bow and arrow, like a target, right? Let me mute that deal down there. So a goal is nothing more than a target or a direction that you're trying to achieve, that you're trying to obtain, that keeps you on track, that keeps you focused on where you're going. You know, you guys all understand that, right? Very simple. Can you also understand where some people might not have success in life, and then you go look back and you start looking at some of their disciplines and look at some of the things that they're doing or not doing, and maybe these people, they never wrote down goals. They never had goals. They never had aspirations. They never had, and if you don't have goals and if you don't have a target you're trying to reach, then automatically that means you have no direction. Does that make sense? Okay? Because if you ain't got goals and you ain't got a target that you're shooting for, then you don't have any direction. Then basically you're like that basketball team that's shooting or maybe never even takes a shot because it's ridiculous to even take a shot because you know there's not a goal there anyway. Does that make sense? Okay? Can you see how that's related to this business where, you know, if we approached it that way, well, it's no wonder that people don't qualify for promotions or move up the marketing plan or whatever. Well, here's how you move up the marketing plan. You got to be focused on moving up the marketing plan. Write it down. How you move up the marketing plan. 101. You got to be focused on moving up the marketing plan. Because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. You guys have heard that before, right? Out of sight, out of mind. Okay? If it's in your sights, if it's in your mind, if it's in your vision, if it's in your thought process, what's the saying? What you think about's what you bring about, right? Well, you can't just think about it once. You can't just think about it randomly, right? You have to train yourself to think about it all the time. Think about it all the time. Really concentrated effort. Where your thought process is and what you're focused and concentrated on. Does this stuff make sense? Very important. And I know a lot of you guys do personal development and you read books and stuff like that or listen to audios or videos, Eric Thomas, whoever, Jim Rohn. Pretty much any successful person, they have a lot of the same traits, a lot of the same things in common, don't they? Okay? So how this all relates to the Herbalife business, again, if you didn't have a goal at the beginning of November, hey, guess what? Now's a great time to have a goal. And by the way, you don't start your goal at the beginning of December. You don't say, well, November's already done. I'll just wait till December to start because that's the tendency. If somebody hasn't set their goals in place yet, that's the tendency. But I'm going to give you another alternative. What you could, if you want to exercise your mind, the same way that we exercise our muscles in the gym, you have to exercise your mind, put your mind in your body, in your business, your business sense, through some exercises to get yourself accustomed to doing this stuff to where then it becomes normal and routine. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's assume that nobody had a goal at the beginning of the month. And I don't think that nobody did, but I'm just for the analogy here. So here's what I would suggest that you do. Between now and close of business for November, tomorrow night, set a goal for yourself. So here's what I would say, and so I'll give an easy one. What is Morgan saying up there? You're probably reading my mind. What are you saying?
Well, I was just saying that I talked to my dad today, and I pretty much was just telling him that same thing. Like, if your month is not going how you wanted it to go from the start of the month, the goal that you set, at least just set a goal from now to the end of the month, so that you can build up some confidence and you can build up knowing that you can achieve some goals going into December.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And so that's what we want to do. You want to, and by the way, even if you did have a goal at the beginning of the month, you might be on target for your goal. You might be halfway to your goal. You might be far from your goal. None of that stuff mattered. Or you might have already achieved your goal. Sometimes overachievers, they'll achieve their goal 10 days ahead of time. And so no matter where you sit in the goal process, how close you are, how far you are, how off to the left or the right you are, how off track you might have gotten, whatever, okay, then guess what? And I see you, Earl. Guess what? You always have to reevaluate, okay? And reevaluate's not the right word. Here's the real word. You have to re-identify sometimes, usually all the times. You're always reflecting. Sam's nodding his head. I'm preaching to the choir here. All you guys know what I'm talking about. You have to redefine always, okay, what your goal was, okay? How am I doing? Am I on track? Am I off track? Do I need to adjust? Do I need to reevaluate? Do I need to make the goal bigger because I've already surpassed my goal? My goal was to sign up 2 distributors. I've already signed up 3. Now what game am I going to play? Well, let's go for 5 because we got 10 days left as an analogy. So you're always redefining, reevaluating where you stand in terms of how close or how far you are from a particular goal or a particular target. You guys got me? But here's the big thing on that. Here's the big thing on that. You have got to get in the discipline at the beginning of the month of setting a target and setting a goal in the first place. And again, like what Morgan was just talking about, if we don't have a goal, then here's what we do want to have. It's 8:54 right now. Between 8:54 right now and midnight tomorrow night, you need to have a target and a goal of what you're going to achieve. So you can develop the muscle, the mental muscle of learning how to close out the month. I want to see y'all writing or typing, because y'all have to develop the mental muscle of closing out the month. And by the way, let me put a disclaimer, because I put a disclaimer on most everything that I say, because I can't jump into y'all's living rooms right now, or I can't read your mind and know exactly all the things in life that are important to you that you want out of this business. You guys got me? So I can't assume that everybody wants to be financially free, and I can't assume that, all that stuff, But what I am saying, most of anybody that's on this call wants to be successful at whatever level of whatever success means to you. Successful could mean $2,000 a month part-time, because $2,000 a month part-time is a lot of money. It doesn't always have to be president's team, 6 figures, financial freedom, and all that. $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $1,000 a month, part-time is success. So I just want y'all to really understand, number one, that I understand there's all different levels of success. Success to one person could be failure to another person. It's like my workout, when I go light on my workout, like a light night, which is like rare, that could be a heavy night for somebody else. You guys got me? And I don't mean heavy in terms of weights. I'm talking about heavy in terms of what you put your body through, like the intensity level, right? So it's that sort of thing. So before I get, so anyway, I just wanted to, you know, really expand on that, because learning how to close out the month and developing that, not only that discipline, but that skill, because that's a skill. I have not met, there's probably once in a while people that get lucky, right? But we can't rely on luck. And what Mark Hughes says, the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? So usually the ones that, and by the way, luck doesn't last long anyway. We can't rely on it. It might be a one-time thing. Great, big deal, okay? But we can't rely on luck to secure our financial futures, can we? What we rely on is the person that we become, the skills that we attain, the mindset that we attain, and we always developing ourselves as humans, are, you know, to be everything that we look that we aspire to be, that we look at other people and admire them for, right? The way, oh, look how that person interacts with that. Because I watch people. By the way, and Alcee remembers too. When we were at the LDW, I mean, I was like blown away from Alcee, because I don't know if Jim Rohn or who, but they talk about studying people. I study people. Do y'all study people? Do y'all like, you know, yeah, exactly. Okay. Usually it's without them knowing that you're studying them, because they might be going, oh, are you a freak or what? You know, stop staring at me, or what are you doing? You taking notes? What are you doing? You investigating me? What are you doing, right? But I had a couple of new people at the HOM at the last LDW. And after the whole thing was over, I introduced them to Alcee. Alcee, come tell them your story and stuff like that. And Alcee told him his story. And he said something like, I lost 1 pound 120 something times. And I loved the way he said that, right? I was they were like, what? What did you just say? But then it was so cool, because then I sat there and watched Alcee's, for lack of a better word, technique, or you could call it MO, method of operation, or really it was just who he is. He was just being who he is. So it wasn't even really a technique, right? It wasn't really a method of operation. It's just he was being who he is. But it was so great because he got the issue off of him, and then he started asking my person, my new distributor, questions. And I'm paraphrasing, but, you know, because I didn't write them down. I didn't have my notebook. But he said something to the effect that, what was the one thing that you got from this meeting that you know, was the biggest impact on you? Something to that effect. He said it a lot better. But then he asked a real simple but direct question, and then he just like his vibe, he just kicked back, smiled, and waited for the answer. And it was like such a profound moment that I'm sitting there like, because most people like to talk about themselves. No, I lost 1 pound 122 times. It's unbelievable. Blah, 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 blah. You got a great sponsor here. By the way, tell me about you. Tell me about you. And he switched it to her and started asking her questions. Then he did another follow-up question. Asked her 2 or 3 profound questions to find out where she's at after seeing this incredible meeting. Okay, so the person that you become, right, is what's important. You got to train your mind, right? The person that you develop into. So that's the determining factor, right? Studying people until you become or start getting those qualities. Okay, because I've watched a lot of people like that, but it's really incredible when you're blown away from your own downline that's only been in the business for, you know, however long Alcee's been in the business, you know? So sometimes you don't just study people that are legends, that have been in the business for, you know, 20 years and 30 years and whatever. You can learn from people that have a good people persona with other people. You need to sit back and take note on how these people interact with people. Because I'm telling you, it's powerful, okay? So anyway, let me sum this stuff up, because if you're new, your goal should be between now and tomorrow night to get your first, second, or third cut of the distributor action plan. So you can, going back to the achievement, getting those achievements under your belt. If you develop when you develop the discipline and the habit of qualifying for promotions from when you start, then think about the value long term. Once you taste it, once you start getting the gifts, once you start getting because it ain't about the material stuff, but then it is, because you get the cool swag, and then you get to walk around and everybody's all jealous. So all the little nuances that come with it, everybody's like, oh man, I want one of those. Oh my God, where'd you get that? You go, I qualified for it. And then you go, qualified for it, right? I mean, it just does something to you. And I'm telling you, that's a lot bigger. That feeling, those things for a new person in the beginning is a lot bigger than getting a $10,000 check in the mail. $10,000 check in the mail is going to be a direct result of you developing the discipline and the muscle, the work muscle of qualifying for those promotions in the beginning. Because once you start tasting it, once you get in the habit of doing it, trust me, because the company is built on recognition and incentives. From the distributor action plan to the bags and the gifts and the this and the that, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Didn't they write a song about that? All the way up. Yeah, I remember it. Come on, Earl. Come on. All the way up. I remember it. Exactly. Okay, y'all settle down before you break something. My TV's starting to wobble. Y'all are getting so crazy. Okay? But that goes all the way up to like big promotions, free vacations. I mean, come on. But imagine if you're new and you don't set goals and you don't set targets, and then you don't develop that discipline. And then if you're not qualifying for these, I would say, for lack of a better word, entry-level promotions to get you in the discipline of doing it in the first place, right? And get all these short-term gratifications. I mean, who likes free swag? Come on. Everybody likes free swag, and especially when it's going to advance your business. I mean, look at Sam up there. Y'all like the way Sam looks? I like the way he rolls around looking like that? Of course you do. Don't you want to look like that? Yes. You want to be all swagged out? Because trust me, when he walks in anywhere, grocery store, bank, wherever he goes, trust me, people are going to do a double take, because he looks so good. He looked like he just came off the racetrack looking like that, all sporty. And I tell you, I've gone into stores and it's the same, because I forget that I'm wearing the stuff, right? And I come in with my cool shades on and my hat and my jacket and my pants, and I'm drinking my Herbalife stuff, and I'm in a supermarket just going to get something to eat, right? And heads are turning. And I got to be honest with you, inside my head, I forget who I am and what I got on. And I'm thinking in my head, what the hell are y'all looking at? For real. In my head, I'm like, they're staring at me. Because it ain't like one person. It's all like they're all turning their heads. Like I'm some kind of, and then I've actually had some comments, you race cars? Are you in sports? Are you this? Things like that. So when you start getting swagged out, people start turning heads. Do y'all want people to turn heads your way? The answer is yes. You want to be noticed, right? Because then the next thing is, hey, and I come up to pay for my stuff, and people know me now, Herbalife. That doesn't mean they're all getting on the products. One is I'm out there branding, and big thing is is I'm getting people to like me. Because it's like Enrique Carrillo says, you know, we got to protect everybody's businesses. And so I might not necessarily get them on the products, but let me tell you something. They might meet Earl and they might say, man, I met this real cool dude that always comes in my thing in my checkout line, and he's always smiling and he's always friendly with me, telling me jokes. And then Earl goes, oh man, that's my sponsor. You see, I soften it up for the next person. So it ain't even always about, you know, getting somebody on the products then and there. It's about repping it, right? And then putting a good name out there for who we are and what we represent. Anyway, going back to it, and then I know Earl raised his hand earlier, so coming to you. Distributor action promotion, qualify for that. Get the first month out of the way. You might have 200 points on the board already, right? Guess what? You guys know how easy it is to get 300 points in the next 30 hours? It's nothing. It's nothing. If it means enough to you, it's one and a half customers. It's one preferred member. Big deal that gets an order. 300 points is not a lot of points. So if you already got 200 points, and I don't care if you got 0 points, 500 points between now and tomorrow night is not that big a deal. How do I know that? I know that because Earl did 1,200 points in 3 hours. So if Earl can do 1,200 points in 3 hours at the end of the month, can you do 500 points in 30 hours? Yes, if it means enough to you. And I'm going to prove it to you. If you got 0 points on the board, how many of y'all would do 500 points between, I tell you what, I don't care how many points you got on the board. Let's not call it 0 points. Wherever you're at right now, how many of y'all would do 500 points, but I don't care what, but it's a done deal, guaranteed, signed, sealed, and delivered. You would do 500 points between now and midnight tomorrow night for a $10,000 check. How many of y'all would do that? Look at all y'all. Y'all are going, well, of course. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Of course I'd do it. Of course I'd do it. I call my customers up. I threaten all of them. You better get this stuff. I'll come, you know, I'll be knocking on your house at 1 a.m. Give me the check. Give me the money. You'd be all bold. You'd be all bold, wouldn't you? You see y'all's reaction? Did y'all see everybody's reaction? The way y'all reacted to that? You're like, of course I would. Well, why don't y'all react like that for the swag? Right? You need to train yourself to react like that for the other things. Because guess what? When you automatically have the same reaction, then the $10,000 check is going to hunt you down. This makes sense? You got to train yourself because it's about the value, right, of what you're going for. But keep in mind, there's so much more value when you're doing the distributor action plan of getting the swag. It's not just that immediate gratification. Look long-term for what that's going to help you do to develop your business long-term. Because now you're developing your muscle and the discipline of doing it. And that's going to lead to you then doing it again on the next promotion, and then the next promotion after that, and the next promotion after that, and the next promotion after that. And imagine if you just qualified for 5 promotions, 5 company promotions in the next year. VIP seating, extravaganza VIP seating, gifts, swag, supervisor, world team, whatever it has to be. Then guess what would end up happening? Year and a half, 2 years down the road, $10,000 check's going to be hunting you down. So I want y'all to equate that in your mind the same way as a $10,000 check. Work the end of the month between now and tomorrow night, because this is where you get paid. At the end of the month's where you get paid. Closing out the month's where you get paid. Come on. Y'all want to get paid, right? Okay? And here's the last thing that I'm really coming to Earl. I learned this from Alan Lorenz in Europe, Chairman's Club member. Basically, all of Europe is under Alan. And he said, this is like people that are in your organization. So understand the concept. He said, you don't get rich off the people that stretch and make it. You get rich off the people that stretch and fail. I want to let that sink in for a minute, then I'll explain that to you, okay? What that really means is not everybody's going to make it every time. But if you're not stretching yourself, if you don't stretch, you don't grow. You guys got me? If you don't stretch, you're just going to be status quo. You're just going to be baselining or flatlining. You know what flatlining means. Flatlining means you die if you're flatlining, right? So you got to stretch yourself. So at the end of the month, you got to play whatever games with your mind to get your, so you'll buy into the deal. So you'll go out there and make the phone calls and send the text and do whatever you got to do to work the scoreboard. What's the scoreboard? Volume points. Volume points is the scoreboard. That's what it is. Just like shooting hoops, just like running touchdowns and kicking field goals. That's the scoreboard, right? And the higher your scoreboard, guess what? The higher your bank account, the higher your position in the marketing plan. The higher your scoreboard, guess what? Then you have enough activity and you have enough stuff happening monthly, right? Quarterly, annually, where now you can start teaching your people how to do the same stuff. If you don't develop the discipline of closing out the month like a boss, how are you ever going to teach your people how to do it? Well, you're not. Everything that I'm telling you right now is because I've already done it for years and years and years. It's how we built our business, closing out the month. I don't know anybody that got on the Get Team, the Millionaire Team, or the President's Team that didn't work their booty off at the end of the month with focus and with discipline and with freaking blinders like crazy and tricking themselves and with different philosophies, right? To stay up late and get up early, you know, and all that stuff. You guys understand what I'm saying? So y'all got to learn this discipline and do this stuff, because then you'll be able to teach your people to do it in the future. And then you have a whole bunch of an army of people. They're out there beasting at the end of every single month, getting that volume on the board, And then to finalize that topic, the people that stretch and fail, here's the good news. Even if you come up short, you end up doing a lot more business than you normally would have done under regular circumstances. And then you'll end up getting that momentum. You'll end up getting paid for that next month. Because you sat there and went after it with a sense of urgency, right? And maybe 40% of it didn't show up to you on this volume month, but then 30% of that shows up in the first 7 days of the next month. You guys see how you win anyway? But even though you might have reached your goal, or you didn't reach the promotion, but you still won. You won a heck of a lot more than if you never would have did anything or had a goal or never had anything to be fired up about. You guys see the difference in that? So as self-employed entrepreneurs, we got to train ourselves on that stuff. Ain't nobody going to show up and do it for us. Ain't nobody going to clock in and say, I got you. I'll go do this. No, you got to learn those skills. You got to develop into that person. You got to stretch yourself. You got to have unlimiting beliefs and philosophies. Everybody agree? All right. Earl, finally, you raised your hand about 3 days ago. Go.
That was good stuff. It was worth the wait. Happy holiday to all of you guys.
That was a holiday?
It was good to be back. It's good to be back.
We had a holiday?
Yeah. So for all you guys, I want to touch back on what Glenn was just talking about. So this is what I've been doing all week, is working with my preferred members, because your preferred members have goals as well. Those of you may not know about the promotions, I've been sending some of y'all messages about your preferred members, a lot of you supervisors who have preferred members in your organization, because there's a lot of promotions going on about that. So you want to pay attention to those things, because they're all different tiers. There's gold water bottles and all that kind of stuff that a lot of them could qualify for. Those are all building blocks. So what I've been talking to, I'm going to give like Renita is on the call. So Renita's a great example. And I was telling her about some different tiers of goals. So it's like, okay, A, B, C, D. That's what I've been doing. I get that from Khalil Blakey. So I get that from him. And so, and first thing, this is not exactly Renita's situation, but this is what I've told some people. So for some of them who never done anything, that's not Renita at all, but some people haven't done anything all month, I've let them know about the Kickstart promotion. So some of them had 200 points in the Kickstart promotion. Okay, let's go for it. All right, at least go for the 200. I'm giving examples, guys. So you plug it in for whatever fits you. So I said, okay, you need to go for 200. All right, at least go for 200. Just like Glenn just said, you could do 500 within so many hours, right? So then after that, I said, well, C, you need to start working on your distributor action promotion. You don't want to leave this month at all. I mean, at least you pass, because you at least qualify for something. You at least got your first cut of the distributor action promotion. And congratulations to Renita. She qualified earlier this month for that. And so, and I use her as leverage to for motivation to work to the other team members. It's like, hey, I have a team member that, you can do 500 in a day because Renita did that in a day. All right, so it can happen. So it's just all about. Then another thing I do is then I say, okay, well, B is, okay, well, maybe if you could do 500, guess what? If you do 500, guess what? Then maybe you obviously can do 1,000. Okay. Then after that, if you do 1,000, well, heck, let's shoot for 2,500. You never know, right? So you set them up for tiers, and then after that, I explain, I assess. So because sometimes people don't see they just hear numbers. I've learned that from team members that sometimes they just hear numbers, but they don't see, okay, well, you're telling me I'm this valuable. How am I this valuable? So then what I do is I say, well, look what you've been doing so far. All right. If they've been doing nothing, you can't really, it's kind of hard to work with somebody that ain't been doing anything. But everybody I've been working with been doing something, posting, doing something like that. I say, well, look, you've been posting. First of all, you got this product result, right? Let's talk about that. Let's make them, because you want everybody to have confidence in themselves. Well, you got a product result. You lost, 37 pounds or whatever like that. You lost 10 pounds. You're feeling great. You lost 30 pounds or whatever, right? You're feeling fantastic. You're posting. You're sharing your story. Let's go look at your Facebook real quick. Wow, look how many likes you got when you told people you had, I learned this from Monica. I said, look how many likes you got when you posted about your result. Let's click on that like button real quick. I literally had them go look at it and see how many likes they got. And I also got this literally from Elsie. Elsie just shared this about a person he got signed up about saying, hey, it was something I don't know the exact words, but it was about the philosophy of, hey, I see you like my page, and I don't know if you had interest in the products or you were just supporting me, right? If you had interest in the products or you were just supporting me. And so I said, well, if you send like all 30 of those people that message, you're going to get somebody, right? So then after that, they're like, oh, and you got the tension off from where they stop thinking like, oh my God, 500 volume points. I say, okay, if they get a quick start, that's 150. Another person get another quick, that's 150. That's what, 300. If you got 300, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go for the 500, right? You're going to go for the 500. So sometimes you got to break it down to people in the levels, and you have to assess their inventory of what they have available and look at the promotions as well. So I'm going to just draw out a few promotions. Go to your, as soon as you go to My Herbalife, as soon as you log in, Herbalife literally at the very top banner, there's a summary at the very top of every promotion. Now, this is the beautiful thing. Pay attention to this, everybody. You're gonna see it's gonna say one for distributors. If you like somebody like like Stephanie and then Sharon and all that, who got people under them. You got one that's for distributors, and you got one for preferred members. Okay, you got one for distributors and one for preferred members. So you click on the one for preferred members. Herbalife literally fixed it to make it so easy. You click on it, they send you to show you a spreadsheet and tell you how much volume they need to get left, how much volume they need to get to silver preferred member. Because some people, I had about 10 people that's just a few volume points away to become a preferred member. I mean, a silver preferred member where they go up to 30%. I found out a bunch of people qualify for the gold bottle for the all-in fall promotion. So I got a lot of sales from that. So and you hit these people up about it, you're gonna start getting these building blocks success, 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 success. And once you help people with these goals, it builds like crazy. And that also trains them, because everybody needs, like Glenn talked about the basketball team. Like, I didn't know for example, I didn't know Get Team was possible until Glenn told me it was possible. Let's backtrack way before I even knew about Get Team, right? He told me 2,500 was possible. I was like, man, you crazy. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking that. I didn't say that.
Look on your face.
I didn't say that, but I was thinking that, right? But there's a level of trust you have to have. That's the great thing about having a team, and having a team with actual experience, not just all read in a book somewhere. I've actually done it. I've actually taught other people how to do it, and you're about to be included. All right? And you put yourself in that included book. So add yourself to the book, right? I include myself in the book of Bob Gray. I include myself in the book of Lindsay Tanner. I include myself in the book of Carrington Wells. I include my book of all these tab team people they have up under them, right? So even before I became a tab team member, I included myself in that book. So I already had that trust, and it starts with that. So if I get on the phone with somebody, they have to have that trust in me, and like, hey, if I'm telling you can do 500, because I literally told this to Renita, no joke. She's on the phone, she can verify it. She's like, well, 500, I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's a lot. I say, Renita, if I say 500, you can do it. And guess what? She did it, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's all it was. It's just trusting. You trust the sponsor, and you go for it, and you help them believe and help them show them the way, and build those tiers. It's going to be awesome. And another thing that I learned from Monica, and she was talking about how she was working with Glenn, the beginning of her career. I'll never forget, I was at Frisco Fit Nutrition, and she was talking about just put the message out there, right? When you put that list together, like I literally went through my list today. I like everybody I had a quote unquote hesitation of sending a message to, I heard up and sent the message.
Exactly.
I say, if that person, if I'm hesitating, like I'm gonna offend that person and say this, I don't want to run them off. I heard up and sent the message anyway.
Right.
Because I'm like, I know that's the main person. That's my uncomfortable zone.
Right.
That's where the money is, in the uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
So, and all we are, and what Monica said, what Glenn told Monica told me, is that at the end of the day, we're the messenger. That's it. I say you send in our time, we just send a text message or making a simple phone call. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Trust me, the best ones you're going to get are the ones that say that you didn't expect. That's all I wanted to say, guys. So let's rock it out, man. We got this thing, man. Let's kill it.
Stuff. That's great stuff. Dude, you just brought me back, because I just don't even know if y'all would have survived back before you had any cell phones and text and messages and video conferences and the platform where that calculates everything for you. When I got on the Get team and the Millionaire team and the President's team, we did not have myherbalife.com that calculated all the downline volume. We had to call all of our people, and on Post-it notes, what you got? What you got? Did the volume move? Okay, let me write that down. Oh, it moved up 75 points? Okay, let me get that down. Post-it notes. We didn't have no myherbalife.com documenting all that stuff. You guys feel me? I mean, it was unbelievable. And I talked to some of these old-time President's team members at some of the meetings and whatnot, and like, I'm confused. I actually tell them, how did we do it? How did we do it? You know what their answer is? I don't know, but we did it. We did it. You know what I mean? And it's just a testament, and I'm going to tell you, we learned that stuff from Mark Hughes. When the promise is clear, the price becomes easy. That's Jim Rohn, that's Mark Hughes. And so Mark Hughes taught us that you'll always figure out a way if it's important enough to you. If it means enough to you, you'll figure out a way. You understand? Mark Hughes also taught us that work with what you got. Don't worry about what you don't got. Now, the good news for y'all is y'all got everything. Y'all got everything. Y'all got everything to work with, to build your business and to build it fast. And by the way, to build it faster than I ever built mine or that Monica ever built hers. You guys got me? So I think that's something, starting from a position of realizing what we got in the palm of our hands, having that sort of gratitude, being grateful for what we got. Now, next level, what are we going to do with it? Grateful, appreciative for what we got. Now, what are you going to do with it? You understand? Listen, we got to close out November like a boss, like champions. Because then after November, we got 1 month to put the exclamation point on 2017. And this is the this is the fourth quarter, okay? The fourth quarter that is going to establish your success in 2018. You guys got to understand something. Do you understand it's bigger than the swag? It's bigger than qualifying for promotion. It's bigger than doing 500 points between now and tomorrow night, or 1,000, or however many you get. It's bigger than all that. This is your future. This is 2018 that's at stake, right? And your December is going to be a killer month depending on how you close out November. Because of your confidence, because of your personal momentum that you have inside of your heart and your soul. If you do your job and if you show up in the next 30 hours and close out November, then guess what? You're going to be jacked up about going into December and owning December. You guys got me? But if you lay down between now and tomorrow night, then what do you think the first, few days of December is going to look like? I'm telling you, we got basically 32 days till the end of the year. That means every day is critical. Every day is critical. But let's only concentrate right now. Let's understand that, but let's only concentrate right now on closing out November. Let's work that scoreboard. Let's get as many shots in the hoop as we can. Let's follow up with existing clients. Let's try to get new clients. Let's get preferred members. Let's sign up new distributors. Go out there and let's make it happen. Remember, what you think about is what you bring about, and it starts and it ends with you guys. You guys are in control of your own destiny. Agreed? Now, if we can get a closing statement from Mr. Alcy Crocker, we'll get y'all on out of here. Close it out for us, Alcy.
What's up? So it was a lot of great things that was said today. And I always skim through the phone because I want to see everybody's faces when a person is talking. And I've seen that you guys maybe seeing some things that you like to use, and I just advise you to go do just that. And don't worry about how long you're going to be up. Don't worry about how many no's you're going to get, because everything that you keep hearing is going to come back. It's going to come back. It's going to come back, and you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself, in your business, in the products, and everything that you do. You just have to believe, undeniably, that it's going to work out. Every message that you send. So if you sending a message like, well, then that's what the response you're going to get. Send that message like, I know they going to order tonight or they going to order tomorrow. And if they order tomorrow, cool, because I'm going to jump out in December with 1,000 volume points. But just because you jump out with 1,000 don't mean you take the foot off the gas. You keep going and going and going and going and going. Because, again, like, the next month is going to be even crazier. And the next month is going to be even crazier. So you can change it right now. But the choice is yours. Victim or victor? Which one you want to be? Let's go to the top, man. Hey, Errol, baby. You the man. I want to be like you when I grow up.
Awesome. Good job, baby. We love you guys. Let's go make it happen. Any of you folks that missed tonight's call, we'll load it up tonight and have them watch the call.
Let's get it. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Take it easy.